Hey YouTube investors, hey stock market sharks, hey Palantir fanatics. This is Steve, your fellow stock market shark and also a Palantir fanatic. And guys, I need to give you an update of what's going on with Palantir stock because we have some very considerable price movements. And probably many of you are curious about the drivers behind these. I'm also the same. So basically, I've been doing some analysis, some background research, and now I'm coming with the info, I'm coming with the answers to help you understand what's going on with the stock and to help you figure out what might come next in terms of the Palantir price movements. So guys, before we dive into the details, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. This is very important. As always, I just urge you to do so because you will receive very important and interesting content, essential analysis, stock market coverage, crypto news, and let's get started. And let's try to understand what's going on with Palantir and what's behind this very heavy sellout. So guys, after my last update on Palantir, the picture hasn't got any brighter. You can see the stock is just free falling. It's just free falling. You can see some very large red candles, basically, some very deeply sinking price movements. And this is basically the same in the last few trading sessions. We only see one single tiny green candle. And so as you can see, guys, the first large red candle basically formulated right after Palantir published this Q3 earnings report. So the earning report was interpreted as negative. It wasn't indeed very negative. It wasn't a downbeat in terms of the data, but as I said earlier in my previous videos, the market expected much more because the valuation of the company is super stretched. The price is basically reflecting some very high market multiples and a very high premium compared to the peers, to the competitors of Palantir in the big data and data analytics space. And the expectations of the market are just extremely high. So whenever the company just delivers the expectations of the analyst, the market reacts in a negative manner. And that's basically, that resulted a very large red candle right on the date of the earnings report. After that, the downtrend continues, so we can see also relatively large red candle here, and then there's a small consolidation taking place. Basically, the price is searching for directions. We are seeing two red candles with the opening and closing price very close to each other, and then an attempt to basically bounce back. You can see this green candle here. This attempt failed, and now the downtrend heavily continues, and we are looking for some answer behind that, because this cannot be an effect of the Q3 earnings, because the Q3 earnings already sold out by now. You can see basically that fall has been finished. So there should be another driver, and we should try to understand what's that, and basically what creates these losses that were registered by the stock. So let's dive into it. And the answer is very simple, and you would be surprised. There's no huge negative news behind that. There's no bad rumors. It's just a simple, tiny thing that created such a volatility and pushed the prices much more lower. So let's look into it. And I'm bringing you the headlines. This is it, guys, what you can see on the screen. This is it, pretty much what's the driver behind the sinking prices in Palantir. Just read out the headline loud. The Palantir gets Credit Suisse neutral rating, the stock slides. So that's pretty much it. The company got a new rating from Credit Suisse. It was neutral. So as you see, it's not a downgrade. It's not a sell, basically. It's just neutral, but still the market interprets it as negative news because the expectations are just super high, and basically the pricing reflects only the bull case. So everything that is below that, everything that is basically neutral, is just it has a negative interpretation from a market's point of view. So let's get into the details a little bit. What happened with this neutral rating? So the analyst of the Credit Suisse investment company, Phil Winslow, put a 25 USD price target on the stock. So this is pretty much it. And Winslow also states that he believes that the company offers a differentiated converged data fabric that enables companies to use diverse data sets. So that is pretty positive. This is basically just the business model of Palantir. And Winslow also added that there is a significant potential for the company's foundry product with commercial businesses However, the analysts warn that Palantir relies on large deals with a few customers, seeing it to continue to report an uneven financial performance. So this is just the usual risk that is mentioned all the time, that Palantir has a high concentration in terms of the customers. If any of these customers falls out, that can have very significant impact in terms of the revenue loss. So this is something that has been known by the market. This is something that Palantir has been criticized for many times. And yeah, I think that this information it shouldn't come as a surprise. So the only thing that is basically some news is the neutral rating, another neutral rating, and a stock price target that is 25. That is basically around the average of the analyst estimates. So I wouldn't say that this is basically negative, but as I said, everyone expects in terms of the new ratings, like a much higher, a much more positive stock price, and possibly a buy rating, because that's what we would like to see. And this hasn't happened this time. And that's basically the driver behind the stock market price falling. So guys, that's where we are at the moment. So I think this is the main driver. There is nothing else. And now let's take a look at the price. Let's take a look at the technical picture to figure out how long this deep fall can continue. Should you enter Palantir already? Should you be super concerned? Can we expect a more significant correction? So I will try to answer these questions one by one. So let's take a look at the price, and let's examine a few technical indicators. What I'm doing when I'm performing technical analysis, I'm trying to get a holistic picture, a holistic technical picture. Basically, that means that I'm investigating different types of indicators: trend indicators, volume indicators, and momentum indicators, and then try to use all these three types to put the puzzles together, basically. So let's dive into it, and let's see what the technical indicators tell to us. And the first indicator that I'm going to take a look at is a momentum indicator. That's basically depicting the momentum behind the price movements. And this is going to be the relative strength index, or RSI. And this indicator, basically, the lower levels of this indicator tell us that the stock is oversold. The higher levels tell us that the price is overbought. And as you can see, guys, the value of RSI is getting really close to the lower limit, the 20 limit. So basically, what this tells us that the price is getting very close to being oversold, and that is basically projecting some bounce back. That is projecting some buying pressure. So from this regards, where we are at the moment can be probably a final stage of the correction, and basically this indicator tells us that some buying pressure might come next. So that is pretty positive. And then let's take a look at a trend indicator that is going to be the average directional index. The average directional index shows how strong the trend currently is. The lower levels of the index tell us that the trend is very weak. Basically, the prices are looking for direction. The market is uncertain about the future of the stock price. The higher levels of the index show us the reinforcement of the trend, an unfolded strong trend, basically. This can be positive at first sight, but such a high level of ADX can also mean that basically the market is getting overbought, and this is the final stage of the trend, and the prices are going to turn. And currently, as you can see, we are a little bit above the lower levels, above 20. So this means that some trend is unfolding, but it's not super strong. It's not reinforced at the moment. So we can't say that this selling, this basic downtrend is a very reinforced, unfolded, strong trend. So something that is basically getting stronger and basically is just escalating. But yeah, this indicator reinforces that there is some trend formulating, but this trend, it's not very strong at the moment. And the third indicator that I'm going to take a look at is going to be a volume indicator. It's very important to understand what are the volumes behind the price movement. So let's take a look at them. So my preferred volume indicator is the on-balance volume indicator, or OBV. This indicator basically shows the buying and the selling pressure behind the price movements. So if the indicator increases very steeply in an uptrend, that means that there is very heavy buying pressure behind the stock price movements. If the indicator decreases very heavily in a downtrend, that means that there is some very heavy selling pressure in the downtrend. Just to give you an example, guys, as you can see here, in the previous correction around April, we can see a very steep decrease in the value of the OBV. So here there was some very significant selling pressure. The OBV is just falling in a very short time frame. At this time, we can see that pattern. So we absolutely see some selling pressure, but this is not comparable to the previous one earlier this year. So there is some selling, and the selling is more, basically selling is dominating the market, but the volumes behind that are not so significant than in the previous correction this year that took place in Palantir. So guys, let's put together the picture. So we are in the correction definitely with Palantir. We are getting slightly closer to being oversold based on the RSI. The ADX tells us that there is some trend formulating, but this is not super strong at the moment. The OBV tells us that there is some selling pressure. It's considerable, but it's not as significant as during the previous corrections in Palantir. So just we are below all moving averages, that is bearish, and we are getting closer to some important resistance line that are around 20 USDs. So basically what we can expect in terms of the price ranges, or basically that the stock can visit in the upcoming days. My prediction is, and this is just my opinion and not an investment advice, I think it's very likely that we would test the levels around 20 USDs. Why I tell you that? Because the RSI still has some space to touch the 20 level. So probably if we go down to 20 USDs, then the RSI would touch that level, and that would be definitely a sign to bounce back. And also, those levels have been tested a couple of times before, and currently there is no resistance where we are. So basically, there is room for the price to sink lower. So I think that the next support level can be around 20 USDs. That's something that we are going to test. And there we have two options. Either the support level would break down, and then we can sink down to a deeper support level that is around 17 or 18 USDs, or basically the 20 USD level would create a very considerable support for the price, and the price is going to bounce back. I think that this later is very likely. The RSI signals that we are oversold, and basically we have some very precise drivers behind the fall. So unless we are getting some negative news, I think that by reaching 20 USDs, this correction can sell out, and then we would be ready for a takeoff. And that 20 USDs level would also represent a significant discount to the analyst estimations, the average analyst estimations that basically hit the market recently. So that would be like probably very good or advantageous entry point for more market participants, creating some buying pressure. So I'm getting back to you with some updates from time to time on Palantir, because there are a lot of things going on, mainly in terms of the price movements. Let's see how this plays out. But till then, guys, please enjoy the trading, and please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, as trading together is always much more fun than trading alone. So have a profitable trading session, have a profitable trading in Palantir stocks, and see you guys very soon when we have some updates on Palantir. I will be right back to you, bringing the most essential analysis on the stock. So till then, take care and enjoy the next trading sessions. Cheers and bye, everyone.